Next item is public comments. We'll get the sign-up list. Yeah, we released the first drug-coded hernia mesh.
Somebody had the right idea.
Yeah. All right.
Public comment
All right.
section. When I call your name, please come up to the podium. Give us your name and address. For the record, you will have 3 minutes. When you have 30 seconds left, I will wave my hand. And as always, please keep your comments civil. Mr. Mosby.
Good evening, board. My name is John Mosby. I would like to say to the board tonight, I would like to have the minutes corrected. When I spoke at the last meeting, I didn't say nothing about privatization of the custodian's job. So I want that corrected. Also, I say that there were 14 maintenance men. And if you look on the video, you will find that. Number two, I spoke about bridge, and I'm going to speak again tonight about bridge. Now, the other people gave y'all documents about bridge, so I want to give them to the board tonight to look at the damage was done at bridge. The people are scared, but I want to give them to the board. And you will find on here where in 212, Dr. Allen asked for a roof for the building. Also, I'm going to give you a copy, I'm going to leave it with you. Also, they asked for $3 million to fix up bridge in the 5-year plan. So you all knew about that, you didn't do nothing about it. So here are they there. The other people give that's mine. The next thing I want to clear up is about putting all this thing in the newspaper about me and the Human Rights Commissioner. I want to make it very clear. What they put in the paper is lies on me. And I'm going to tell you right now, if y'all don't straighten up these lies, I'm going to sue the newspaper and things. They give you the side to the story, but they didn't get my side to the story. This is no game plan. This is nothing to play with. And you're knocking my kids and my son. He got a right to file a complaint. I got a right to file a complaint. I'm not backing down a one bit. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm filing charge against the human right. That guy up there is working right with y'all. He lied. He took my complaint. And he lied. He said that under the statute, 558A, that's the employer. I didn't file it. I filed on another statute. And I'm going to tell y'all keep on playing around. You see what happened to that Staker guy? I'm going to lay a $10 million lawsuit if you don't get your business paid. This is no game plan. And Dr. Rivera knew about that roof up there over a year and a half ago. Now he want to throw our kids down in to Benver Franklin. We want to keep them kids there. That's our school. And you think we ain't going to fight? I'm not backing down a one bit. And the principal and the teacher up there was so proud the kids were hugging me. They're so scared to come out and speak to y'all because y'all done bully them. So I want y'all to take this very serious. This is nothing to play with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. And that is all we have signed up for public comments.
Okay. Next, Superintendent's report, Dr. Rivera.
Sure, I have 3 items, and number one, as I've reported at both the last board meeting and have mentioned it in the written reports as well, we will be needing to come back to the board potentially with some budget transfers. We do need to add some additional staff to support our English language learners at Brian McMahon and at Norwalk High because of the increased numbers. And I want to be able to bring that back in a format and with the sufficient detail for the board to have. That is number one. Number two, facilities. I did, in my Friday report to the board last week, indicated that we would be meeting with my staff to go over some of what we believe are urgent and necessary facility improvements, some that we've become aware of, some that schools have sent to us. I will tell you, I was amazed to look at 32 pages of work orders that had been submitted, and I'm not certain that we can wait till the next budget cycle of 2015-2016 to begin to get some of that work done. So that will also be part of what I intend to bring back to the board. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Secondly, today, we had throughout the school district a professional development day. Mr. Dodona, a number of his staff organized a number of really interesting opportunities for our staff to participate in. And I will say I was very pleased to see within our own special ed department all the paraprofessionals from those classrooms having an opportunity to participate in training. I think that our teacher aides represent a workforce that we need to look at perhaps in a different way and support their continued growth and development as we go forward as a system. Third item I just would like to mention, and I'm going to ask Tony, if you wouldn't mind joining me here. With Common Core State Standards, we have been transitioning to a standards-based report card, if you will, standards-based progress report. And so that means that we've had to make some adjustments to traditional progress reports and try to be as clear as we can about what those standards are, what children need to know and be able to do, whether it's a kindergarten children knowing, you know, the uppercase and lowercase letters by X period of time. But to clarify that, so we've had to make adjustments in the progress report itself. Some of that work is underway. We are going to be communicating some of that. And Tony, why don't I turn it over to you before I get too far down here?
Well, what we've done is the elementary student progress reports have been revised to reflect the Connecticut Core Standards, which are the Common Core State Standards, but as you know, Connecticut calls it the Connecticut Core Standards. So all of the English language arts standards have been revised. Last year we revised the math standards. So as of now, what we did is we revised the progress reports to show that they're standard-based, and what standard-based grading is, it communicates how students are performing on a set of clearly defined learning targets. And I have a little handout for you that will explain it, that's going home to parents. As we were looking at these, we're just going into now conferencing. However, in elementary school, they're in a tri-semester. So this tri-semester ends at the end of November. And what we sent a letter home saying that we're going to give the students the amount of time they need, but to give out these progress reports now, there's like another 4 weeks yet. So the progress reports will be sent home at the end of November, the beginning of December. But they've all been aligned. We sent them to the schools. Teachers have commented on them. We brought all their comments back and we redesigned it all, and we're there now. So the teachers will be getting them. Parents will be getting them after conference night, not during conferencing. It's too early. There's another month of school.
Okay. Just to add to that, we'd be happy to do, we will send you information electronically on both the explanation as well as a copy of the letter that went home to parents. And obviously, it needs to be translated as well. So we'll make sure that that information is available to all board members, just so you have it, because it's kind of a big switch, big deal for folks.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
Nope, that concludes my report.
All right. Where's the stands? Yes, Ms. Mosby?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Rivera.
Yes.
You mentioned your Friday report, you're going over the reports. Is there any way possible that we can get a copy of the State Department of Education special education audit that took place, that you informed us about in the report?
I have the letter that I received from the state. I can send you a copy of their letter concluding their findings on the report.
And there's the review of audit. So there is.
Well, they came, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but they came in and did their audit, and they met with people, they reviewed actual records, and then they summarized it in a letter to us saying, you guys did well and passed everything. So I don't know if I don't know what they have or if they've actually issued a detailed audit report other than the letter.
Okay, well, yeah, we can start with the letter, and then I can find out if there's a detailed
Sure.
report that, you know, that goes with that letter. And the second item on the report is the Briggs, since, you know, we brought that up tonight. I see here that you are going to be exploring Benjamin Franklin, and I just want to just state here tonight that I do have some concern about Benjamin Franklin, and I just trying to figure out how this is going to work if you're thinking of just moving kids there temporarily into Benjamin Franklin when there's little children that are in that facility. And I don't know how that is going to work. So that's something that when you, I'm not sure if you want to come back to the board members and ask them to give their suggestions or what they have on their mind, send it in an email or something to you, or to address, because, you know, that's the main concern, and just to move those kids out of that school and that location. Another question I have a concern is that once you move these children out of that facility, will they be able to go back? Because, you know, that school is under part, and it does need a lot of work, and that could be some code violation, and to bring it back up to school codes, once you start removing people out of a building, then it's vacant, and then it'll be hard to try to move them back. So I want to see what type of effect that would have by moving these children out of there.
Your last point is in fact accurate. That's an issue that we have to look at. However, I will tell you, and I don't know if you sensed it in my report, but there is a high level of frustration with the continued disrepair, the leaks that spring up, the boiler that continually breaks down, even when it's working. You know, rooms that are cold, rooms that are hot. It's you know, I think about, would I want my child in that particular building? I'm not so sure. And my instinct was, you know, by the time we get an architect to look at potentially renovating Briggs, get that done, look at another option, it's going to be 2 years before we actually get any work done there. And I'm not so certain that that's the best environment for our young people, who I think deserve better in the short term. So even though I was exploring a temporary, I meant it when I said temporary, because I'm not sure that Franklin's the best place either.
But not with little children up in there.
Well, I'm not so sure about that either, because I've seen wonderful programs where pre-K kids are in with high school kids in the same building. I think we have it right down the road. In my former district, we did that. I'm not so sure that's that big of a problem, actually.
You're not sure, but I'm just, as a mother.
Sure.
Having kids and plus not getting feedback from the community as well as to whether or not they want their children to be mingling in that sense. And I understand, Dr. Rivera, about you saying you're concerned about all those different areas. But the bottom line is that Briggs has always been the stepchild of this board. And for years, there's been money that was during the capital budget, the improvement budget, money that has been allocated to Briggs that Briggs never seen. And if those repairs and stuff would have been done at the time, then maybe we wouldn't be where we are now. But in order, instead of just throwing out the baby in the bathwater scenario, we can sit here and try to work, because, okay, Kendall, we have issues at Kendall, and we're having that roof repair and taken care of. So why can't we go there and have Briggs roof, since this, the roof is leaking, repair in the same concept as Kendall? Are we moving Kendall children out of their school into another area?
I would beg to differ and say that there are different situations. The infrastructure at Briggs is old and tired. You got old rusty pipes running through that building with water that still heats radiators that, as I mentioned, give off foul smell. People can't even go into their offices. The boiler they don't even make it anymore. We have to have custom parts fit. It's a very, very different situation. So if we're going to sit here and advocate for Briggs, we ought to be advocating for the students to have the best possible place where they can be and where they can learn, in the best environment that they can. And, we've gone out and we've looked at different other buildings for Briggs students, and you know what we get back? We don't want Briggs students here. Sorry, don't come back again. I've heard that 2 or 3 times. I get frustrated hearing that, because I know they're good kids over there and they deserve better.
Well, they have a home. They have a home, let's just fix it up.
They have a home that is in disrepair. They have a home that's in disrepair.
And if we start doing some repair of it and fix it up, then that school can be, and it's their school. It's their school, and that way no one can turn them away. I mean, we need to explore all
Sure.
possibilities instead of just moving them to somewhere, and placing them, because these kids need to have the feel of a school.
That's right. I agree.
And instead of just sticking them anywhere. So again, like I said, I will, if you want, I can send emails or something.
Sure.
And I think that we need to probably get the community involved as well.
If there are options that you have, I'd love to hear them.
Okay, and I'll send you the options so that we can move on, because we just can't make this decision like this without getting everyone involved.
Anything else?
No.
All right, we'll move on to, oh, yes.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. So the decision has already been made, or it hasn't?
No, he says he's exploring.
Oh,
No,
it is
we're
exploring.
exploring.
Okay,
That's why I'm putting my 2 cents in now.
okay.
Okay, we'll proceed to the consent calendar. Consent calendar tonight is 1 personnel matter and 1 trip. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. Motion. Mr. Kasimis moves. Ms. Rivas seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Boom. Okay, next item is 6A, which is discussion of 2015 board meeting dates. We did have something of a little informal discussion before. I think those of us here felt that moving the November 3, 2015 meeting to November 10 made sense because it avoids Election Day. February 17 is winter break. Is there any sense of whether we should move that one forward or backward, or
I'm here.
any preference?
I've been here for the last couple of years.
Some people go away.
Some people
I know.
go away.
I mean, you could,
I just say have it and see what happens as we get closer.
Yeah, if there's a problem, we can always do it.
Yeah, we can always change it.
Okay.
all right. So consensus here is keep February 17, but move November 3 to
Yep.
November 10?
Yes.
All right, so we'll put that on for the board, for the next board meeting for a vote. Okay. All right, are there any committee reports? Any report? Jack? Okay, no committee reports. Board member announcements, any announcements? No announcements, okay. Moving right along, last item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the October 21, 2014 meeting. Motion. Let's see, motion is made to approve by Mr. Kasimis. Is there a second? Ms. Rivas seconds. Any discussion, changes, amendments?
Well, I have a discussion. I mean, I have a question.
Absolutely.
Okay, when, in the event that we do have the public that is commented on the minutes, what they state, how do we actually correct what the public needs to be correcting, or is?
Well, not unless,
If there's an error?
not unless a board member would raise it. Members of the public can't change our minutes, but board members can propose amendments.
So then it would be if the person would come forward and say, well, this is incorrect, and then what is the board?
Well, what typically happens is that if a member of the public says, I was misquoted in the minutes, that statement will be in the next set of minutes. So it will get noted
And
in
the
next
area
minutes.
that they stated as well?
Well, whatever they said at this meeting would appear in the minutes of this meeting. But that's not the same thing as
The
the
minutes are not correct.
board correcting the minutes.
Yeah.
Only board members can do that. members of the public can't.
No, okay, they can't actually do it, I mean, but
Right.
how do we go about?
If you want to propose a correction to the minutes, then you can propose that, and the board will consider it.
Okay, yes, I would like to consider what the public stated about the minutes.
Can you take a look at the tape?
Can
And, yeah, go ahead.
Not to be the bad guy, but, I'm sorry, you have to, shouldn't you have to been here in order to be able to vote, or? I don't mean to be the bad guy.
No,
Well,
because
just
it's
to
a
be fair.
discussion and you're discussing minutes.
She was not here
Discussing
last
minutes and-
Actually,
week.
it is traditional for
Yeah.
people to abstain if they were not at the
Correct,
meeting, but it's
yeah.
not mandated. They can participate if they want to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Stand correct.
Mr. Chairman,
Just wanted to be fair.
Mr. Chairman, could I say something?
No, you cannot. You're not a member of the board. The secretary, you will review the tape based on the statements made at this meeting and see if there's any corrections that need to be made, and then you can bring those to us. Okay? All right, so while we wait for that check, why don't we just table these to the next meeting? Should we do that?
Sure.
All right, motion to table.
Table.
So moved. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor of tabling the minutes? All opposed? All opposed to tabling? Abstentions?
Abstentions, yeah. You abstain, yeah, you have to.
2 no votes?
I'm abstaining.
All right, well, they're tabled to the next board meeting. And we don't have the discussion of pending litigation because that matter is not ready to bring to the board, so the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Kasimis moves, Mr. Chairman, seconds, all in favor? The meeting is adjourned.
8:15.
All right, here you go. Let me sign a couple of these. Sure. Here.
You're going to meet separately
Kicking him out.
this week.